I talked a little bit about the Spectrum, and
that's the oscillator.
The oscillator, Spectrum oscillator. The things that it does that are interesting, it's a sawtooth core oscillator. It tracks 8 octaves, is what my strobe tuner will do. I believe it'll do 10 octaves properly. So it stays in tune, temperature compensated. It's very, very stable, very musical. And it has some more interesting waveforms. So through this, let's see.
And the sub as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it has a sub oscillator. So I'm going to patch a few of the different ones. So that's a sawtooth. This is the PWM, and we will actually patch it.
What do you use for mixing on that?
On what?
On the Monolith.
On the Monolith?
What's the?
There's it's called the blender.
Oh yeah.
And it's a 2 manual crossfaders with knobs, and then 1 voltage controlled crossfader. So you can mix 4 channels, but a little bit non-standard like.
Yeah.
So
you're blending between them.
Exactly. So this is the PWM. And this is just, probably all know what PWM is. Changing the duty cycle of the square waveform. This is one of the interesting parts. This is center ramp pulse width modulation.
So what does that do?
So that is taking a ramp waveform or a sawtooth waveform and expanding the middle and turning it into a square wave. So it's blending between the two.
What does it sound like when it's modulated?
Versus, it's a little bit lighter. Yeah. And then this is also ramp modulation. So these are a little bit more mellow.
Is that full-on modulation, or does it go more than that? Oh yeah. Slower?
Is the filter taking some of the top off as well?
It is. I can patch past
maybe
that.
Patch it
we'll get rid of that one. No.
Because some people will ask me about like sort of comparisons with the AFG and like sort of the animated waves and that, and whether it does anything at all like that. And seems like
sure,
it's similar because it has the animated saws and the animated pulses on the AFG.
Are pretty powerful.
Similar sort of.
Yeah. So this is pulse. And then this is saw modulation. Sounds close. Center ramp. They sound pretty. That loud, they sound similar. So one's kind of a double speed, and it's a push button to change between the two. So. And then the sine wave is not, most sine waves are generated by distorting a triangle wave to kind of make it look like a sine wave. This sine wave is filtered.
Yeah, it's got a nice clean one.
So it's very, very clean. And what you can do with that is most of the time when you sync a sine wave, it sounds quite a bit like this. So this is the triangle output being synced.
All right.
And you get a lot of odd harmonics. This is the sine wave being synced.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like a wave folder.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on, what's that? What was that?
This is a sine wave.
And what was that?
And he's modulating the pitch.
I'm changing the course tune.
Synced one.
So without the sync, that's what it is, and with the sync,
my favourite sounds.
yeah.
What are the other waves like when you're doing the sync and stuff on it? It'd be nice to hear like an oscillator sync, tearing oscillator sync.
Triangle, sawtooth, hard sawtooth sync, and then let's see, we'll do the center. as a modulator for the PWM. Pulse.
So you're using a self-oscillating filter as a modulation source?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And
So-
how slow will it go? So it basically turns into an LFO?
It will turn off as you get.
Yeah, I was noticing that
Too
it
low,
turned off
yeah.
when you took it by down. That's quite common, I've had that on the other ones, yeah. Do you know how slow it goes before it gives up?
About that slow. So 5 hertz.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just a low pass, isn't it?
This one's
Yeah.
just a low pass. Yes. Exactly. So it has a built-in amplifier as well, so it can act as your velocity controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got a
But-
shed load of VCAs in there, haven't you?
You do. They're all hidden, but you have them.
You've got one in the ADSR, one in that, then you've got several in the blender, haven't you?
Just
And
really
then the-
2 in the blender, and they're
Yeah.
coupled together. And then only one dedicated VCA.
So you've got 1, 2,
But you can use
5,
you can use the ADSRs as independent ones because you have the
6 then, yeah.
CV inputs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that's the basic sounds of the Spectrum, except the sub, which will pull the sync 1 or 2 octaves down, sawtooth or square wave.
Yeah, it's handy that. There's not many that have sawtooth subs.
Right.
Like,
So
AFG was always good for that. Like,
Yeah.
and there's hardly any others that do it. So yeah.
Right. So with the sawtooth sub, what you can do is patch into the toolbox and you can do sub-octave PWM
All right.
if you need to, using the comparator.
Right.
Yeah.
You've completely lost me now.
Oh, okay.
How would you do that? Sorry.
All right. So to do that...
Sounds interesting. I've just no idea how you do it.
So you need your modulator, which we'll use the pole 04 as negative input. So this is where it's oscillating.
Yeah.
And then you take the sub-octave into the input. That's a square wave.
Yeah.
Push and hold. And now it's a sawtooth wave. Yep. And I'm going to reduce the amplitude through an attenuator. Triangle, attenuated, sub-octave.
But you're regretting
Yeah.
mentioning this now.
Trying to figure out what I did to make it not work.
Stitched him up now. Sorry.
Right.
Sounded good before whatever you pressed a
Yeah.
couple of seconds ago.
Well, I had this one up high like that. It was working the other day. I don't know what I did now. Oh, I attenuated the wrong signal.
Beauty
The
of modular.
problem with modular. So that's your sub-octave saw. So if you take that, I'm going to mix it with the regular PWM.
Do you have examples of any of these patches in your? You said you had some in the manual or something, or some examples of patches. Yeah.
We do. We're working on doing complete artwork for everything.
Right. All right.
But we will have a lot of examples.
It'd be nice to have
soon.
some quite advanced ones as well as like, you know, your standard ones.
Right, absolutely. So, so this is an example of sub-octave and standard PWM, which gives you that, or you can do using the sine, they'll be a little bit off of each other.
The FM sounds really good on them as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe do us a bit of that. But on the
Sure.
video, it sounded really nice. The sign on sign stuff sounded
Right.
really clear.
So there's sine wave, and take too many cables.
It's kind of like the holy grail of FM and the sort of synthesis, trying to get nice, clean, bell-like kind of FM stuff out of sine waves. It's actually
Right.
quite hard to do on analog modulars.
Yeah. Okay, so this is this sine. Take this other sine and I'm going to go direct first. So the FM input is either linear or exponential at the push of a button. And we need our volt per octave.
Nice to have a little sequence going or something, so yeah.
Yeah, I can do a sequence.
Because whatever it was you were doing on the video sounded really good.
Yeah, that would have been just a simple sequence. And so I'm going to use a gate into this envelope, and I'm going to run the PW or the sine output here,
The modulator is this?
the modulator oscillator, through this VCA, so that we're controlling the amount of FM going in.
So you can sort of shape it and sort of, yeah.
A little bit. I think that's this thing.
What's that?
The little trill. No. Give it a minute. Okay, one other thing. We're gonna pull that and do a proper amplitude output.
Nothing like patching with 20 people. So.
Yeah, right?
Test of your metal.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't play live with a modular, particularly.
Right.
Fair play to anyone who does it.
Yeah.
Strictly backing tape only, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's your bells.
Does it go any more intense than that? Is that the linear?
Going out of tune just a little bit there.
What's it like with a lower frequency, like dropping it down?
Modulator or carrier?
Oh, either.
Or,
Just generally lower. Quite like it. What's it like with the exponential thing? More sort of dissonant.
very, very dissonant.
I'm guessing it gets pretty savage when you start doing like cross FM sort of feedback kind of
I've
loops
seen some
of
of
it.
that.
Yeah.
We could do. Start with the sine.
Always used to like doing that with had a couple of Z3000s. Used to
Right.
destroy them with FM. It's quite nice when it's synced as well.
Yeah. So we can do that. We'll go the other way. Going out of tune a bit, but
Oh, that's quite nice. Quirky.
right.
Is that with the sync in, or is that?
Yeah.
What's it like without the sync? Just like total chaos.
Well, because it's a sine wave, it's not
Yeah.
as chaotic as it could be. If we go to the
Yeah,
triangle.
Yeah.
And maybe is that exponential that or?
That's exponential.
Yeah, I like it when it gets all savage.
Too short.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, get some proper raspy stuff. Having a bit of that.
Right. Yeah.
Something on the street.
Right. So, and then here's a, that's a sine.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So that is literally what FM will do if you just pull that cable out and then back in again.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not much going on. That's a sawtooth for FM.
Is that two sawtooths or a sine and a sawtooth?
This is the sawtooth running through the VCA modulating or FMing the sine wave
Yeah,
output.
well, so we made that a sawtooth.
Yeah, what's it like with both of them?
Yeah.
Sort of-
To both sawtooth.
Yeah.
It's quite gnarly.
Just give it out, maybe.
Yeah, it seems to tick most of the boxes. I mean, it's like it does clean and sensible, and it does.
Right. It's designed to
Really?
kind of
Yeah.
try and do everything.
Yeah, there's
So.
not a great deal I can think of.